Good morning and welcome to Southmead Social News, brought to you by Southmead Youth Centre. My name is Cody and I'm here to bring you the top stories around Southmead. This is part of a media project looking at crime in our area. A lot of people have a lot of different things to say about Southmead. We asked people, how safe do you feel in Southmead?
I think it's just like anywhere else in Bristol. You'll have your bad areas, your good areas. I just think it depends as well on who you know. If you know certain people, then you're bound to be a little bit more safe. If you stay out of trouble, you're less inclined to get into crime, which would keep you safe as well. I feel pretty safe in Southmead all in all.
I feel quite safe. I've lived here I lived here 2005 and moved away for a bit and come back. Never had a problem.
Crime is a big thing in Southmead, to be honest. I haven't seen much going on now because I moved recently, a couple of years ago to Hawfield. Crime in Southmead is not big, but pretty big. How they certain people stealing license plates, that's kind of a big deal.
There used to be like a lot of burnt-out cars and all that, but it's quite down a lot. You don't really see a lot more trouble what it used to be like. Like there was a lot more police up and down the street, even though you see the odd one now and again. But
I think it's getting worse. I think the younger generation have a lot less respect for people's property. Cars, motorbikes are getting stolen a lot around these ways. I think it's getting worse.
As you can see, we got a lot of different views, but mainly more positive. After learning about how people feel about crime, we spoke with a martial artist who works in Southmead to get his views on the area. Here is the special report.
I've lived around the area for about 10 years.
How long have you been working in the karate?
I've been teaching in Southmead for about 9 years now. I'd say there's an issue everywhere, I think, generally, like there always probably will be. I've had a couple of incidents around here, but I think it's probably mainly down to not enough for people to do sometimes.
Do you feel safe in Southmead when you come here to work?
I do, yeah.
Do you reckon the police can handle it a bit better, or what's your views about how the police handle it?
My views is they need more restraints and holds teaching. They have one day a year on how to restrain someone and control them, which generally results in people using techniques which wouldn't be used usually, and which are probably more dangerous than the real ones, using things like CS gas more. And I feel quite strongly about that. I've worked on the doors for about 12 years as well, and it's generally what I see a lot of. People not knowing what they're doing, so they resort to something which is actually more dangerous in the long run. Anywhere could be improved. I think collectively, I think there's always a lot of incentive to do something here. I feel it's a little bit misdirected sometimes, and I think actually what they need to do is focus more on something for young males rather than young females, which tends to be a lot of the case around here, and I don't think it's much of the problem.
So if people came up to you and asked you, how do you feel about Southmead, what would you say?
I love it, it's great, it's a great little spot. Yeah, some good people.
Thank you. Thanks to the news team here at Southmead Social News for that report. It was interesting to learn his thoughts. Next up we have a report about how police deal with crimes and a way of preventing it.
Anthony Hughes, local PCSO. Been part of the Southmead neighbourhood beat team for 7 years now.
What is it like working in Southmead?
Love it. Years I've covered Westbury, Henleys, Henbury for a bit as well, and I've just always gravitated back to Southmead. And on the neighbourhood police team, generally as PCSOs, we don't respond as such, so we don't take 999 calls. Because we don't arrest as PCSOs. So if you report something to the neighbourhood team, it's usually a lower level. People tend to see us as below a police officer. And in the whole structure of things, we're not any lower or higher. We're kind of just a different role. So whereas a police officer will go out and arrest somebody and solve that problem that way, we might go out and get the council on board or social services and work to a solution that way. Yeah, we do get a lot of names, but I don't know, I've heard them all now, so there's nothing original that tends to come out. I quite like RoboCop, or Power Ranger was another good one. 6-7 years ago, I remember couple of occasions we had rocks chucked at us and that kind of thing. But I think over the last few years, the neighbourhood teams have really got like a strong stance in the neighbourhood, and people know we're around and know what we're about. Violence against the person, that's the highest statistic crime we got at the moment.
How would you personally report a crime?
To report a crime, if it's something ongoing, like an emergency, then I'm sure everybody knows the 999 number. Call up on 999. If it's something that isn't so important, like I don't know, low-level noise problem maybe, noisy neighbours, that kind of thing, you can go through the 101 number. There are a lot of challenges out there, it's hard to answer, but anything that I feel challenged by, we got so many partner agencies now, we can go to them and kind of get some information from them or a guideline on how to deal with it, really. The police have got on board quite strongly with a Twitter account and a Facebook account, and I suppose we've always had the website for the last few years, but generally people aren't going to go on and specifically log on to have a look at a website. Whereas now, if you like the Avon and Somerset Facebook page, or your specific area one, so the Southmead one, you click like and you'll get the updates daily, anytime anything goes on. So I think that changes public perception, because A, they're getting the stories out there to a wider audience, and B, they're using modern technology kind of up to date with young people and what young people want, really. And you've still got more conventional or older methods that the older generation will continue to use, because they're not keen on the newer methods, the newer social media.
The team at Southmead Social News gathered some crimes statistics from the police. From the year 2013, there were a total of 982 reported crimes, violence being the most reported. Bike theft was up by 67%, with 30 reported offences. There were 269 offences of violence and 222 reports of criminal damage, but this figure is down 7% on previous years. Crime involving house burglaries was at 59 reports, which is down 21% on the previous years, but shoplifting was up by 22% at 77 reported offences. The news team at Southmead Youth Centre believe crime needs to stop and certain people give the area a bad name. We spoke with Keith, who works at the youth centre, to hear his thoughts.
I quite like Southmead, it's a nice place. We've got a good youth centre and there's some good people about. I've met a lot of good people since I moved here. I haven't really seen any crime as such firsthand, but there's a lot of antisocial behaviour about, and young people seem to talk about it a lot, so it must be on their minds a lot.
What age group do you think causes the most crime in Southmead?
That's a good question. Yeah, I would have to assume that it was the older teenagers and people in the 20s, maybe the older ones, but it seems to be that young people tend to get the blame for it, but I think it's probably going to be the slightly older age group that's doing it. I think young people are under the impression that the police don't treat them fairly, although again I haven't seen that firsthand, so I won't be able to say, but I think the police are as fair as they can be.
Do you feel safe in Southmead?
Yeah, I feel safe. I've never felt unsafe in Southmead. I think Southmead got a bad reputation some years ago, but I don't think it deserves it. I think it needs a new reputation, because it is quite a good place with a good sense of community. And I think if the people just keep doing the good things that they're doing, then it'll improve the image of Southmead to people outside of Southmead.
Well, that was it from Southmead Social News team. Thanks for watching. Good night.